All right, well, I've got some good news and bad news on this college loan situation. The president coming up with a plan to help college graduates, make good on paying back their loans. Now, the bad news. If you are in the upper income group, you're going to be paying for it. But then again, you're paying for a lot already, aren't you? Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And is it me or is it every single time they have a big program plan, the cost of it is dumped on the rich? In this latest scheme to help bail out a lot of beleaguered, students, the fact of the matter is that the rich are going to pay for it to the tune of about $50+ billion over 10 years, more than making up for the cost of the whole thing. But the detail just follows what has been a disturbing pattern, and one I'm going to take up with Americans for Tax Reform President Mattie Duffler. And Mattie, let's just cut to the chase here. 39.6% is the top federal rate, but we know for a fact that we've added about a full percentage point in a Medicare surtax that is unending, and a 3.8% investment tax over $200,000 to $250,000 that is unending. You keep adding these up. We're into the mid 40s to upper 40s, and I haven't even addressed state and city taxes in this. How high is this going?
Well, the issue here, besides all of the taxes that have already been passed into law on higher income earners, is who these higher income earners are. These are the job creators in the United States of America. And right now, the president is talking about trying to ease the burden on students who are going to college, who are coming out of college having a hard time finding work. They can't find work because the president keeps taxing the employers out of the system. They can't provide employment for any of these kids coming out of college.
Well, they say
so it does nothing to do with the cost.
Well, they always are. Look at the latest employment news where we've made up all the jobs lost to the recession. So if this is harming things, look at the market racing to new highs. And also, Mattie's argument falls on deaf ears. You say what?
Well, Neil, if you believe that the employment situation has improved to the point that we don't have to worry about it anymore, I have a bridge to sell you. Looking at the numbers right now, you've got...
Careful, I have enough to deal with these surtaxes on. Don't throw a bridge
Yeah,
out.
I don't know what the taxes are on the bridge that you'll be buying, but I'm sure that I'll make off the pretty penny. But, look at the unemployment rate for youth right now. It's double that of what's happening just for the national average. This is a huge problem. Right now, we have kids who are being sold a bill of goods when it comes to their education. And when they leave college, they are left with absolutely no resources to try and compensate for an education that they just spent 4 years trying to get.
This makes it more difficult. The very folks who can hire them and maybe help them out are going to be less inclined to do so because their taxes are going up. It is a worthy point and one I want to expand on with our Fox All-Stars. Rick, please text me more. Ungar, Ashley Pratte, and Todd Schoenberger. So, Rick, you were like, harumphing during that discussion. Why?
I'm trying to understand this premise of how it's going to cost rich people more if we lower interest rates on student loans. The federal government...
But you're going to be taxed for it.
Now, I'm already being taxed.
I know you are. You're going to pay more in taxes to see if this works.
I don't know that that's true. Right now, the federal government's... Wait. Right now, the federal government's making a $50 billion a year profit on student loans. Is that really necessary? Can we not cut a small break to these
Todd,
kids?
is it really necessary to put this experiment to turn it around on the backs of the rich, hoping that it will?
No, because it's another bad bet. Because here's the thing, there's no guarantee that, one, they're going to graduate, number two, they're going to be able to find a job. Mattie talked about the jobs that are being created, but they're the low-income variety jobs, and I think we can all agree on that.
That's true.
So if you have these excess student loans, if you have these high interest rate student loans, how are you going to pay for it anyway?
Well, that's what we have now is high interest.
But
the proposals
I want to leave the particulars over this very program and just see what has been the steady, sort of inexorable hike in taxes on the rich to pay for anything and everything, whether it calls for supporting and paying for the health care law or all the other related taxes that have been going up in the interim. It is a lie to say it ends at 39.6%. It's a lie to say it's going to end right now at around 45%. I just think higher and higher she goes.
I think it's important here, Neil, to address the fact that President Obama is doing nothing here to create jobs and nothing to lower tuition costs. He is just putting this bill on hardworking Americans now, the very people that are the ones who are job creators, as Mattie mentioned. So I think when you look at this, you have to see, is this really fair for the hardworking Americans to have to be supporting, the education of college students? Yes, we have a student debt crisis. That's definite in this country. But is this the way to resolve it?
Here's what I worry about, Mattie, the message it sends here, whether this works or not. Everyone is open to being treated to dinner. If I'm with Rick certainly I'm going to have him treat because he's such a rich guy. And I'm going to order 2 appetizers.
It's true. That's the
I'll
sad
order
part.
2 appetizers.
Yeah,
Actually, I'll order
maybe
3 appetizers. I'll eat his meal, but he's paying, so I don't think about what I'm paying
Right.
for. So I think
exactly
that the expectation that someone else will foot the bill. I don't doubt Rick's right that this kind of thing. Certainly polls well and is received well by those communities that benefit. In this case, kids in arrears on their loans. But I always see the same end game here, and I don't like the way it ends.
Well, and at the end of the day, you have to pay the piper. And so if you're capping student loans for the debtors who are taking out the loans, there's still all of that money that is owed to colleges and other institutions. So what they're seeing right now is that after 10% of a debtor's income, it's free money. So why wouldn't they continue to have their fees rise? Why wouldn't they continue to have their tuitions go up? Because they know at the end of the day, the taxpayers will have to pick up the bill. And that's the problem with the policies we see right now when it comes to the cost of higher education. What the president and his allies in Congress want to do is inoculate higher ed from the forces that would work on it in the free market and allow it to continue to operate as a monopoly.
Well, what happens at the end here is that you're going to have these costs continue to go up, the rich supporting it. And what I've discovered with a lot of taxes, they go up. It is rare that they go down. So once this tax goes into effect on this particular thing, others will stay as well.
It's like that with any tax, Neil. You see these new taxes that come out, it's always the promise that, okay, this is just for a short-term period. They always turn out to be permanent because the money is distributed elsewhere.
Are you happy with yourself?
It doesn't always. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, you know. Actually, Ashley was right. College tuition is too high. Who says you can't take measures to bring down tuition, which I agree is a ripoff?
But you're
and
perfectly happy paying more to support a program.
Lower percentages of interest on people who need that help.
And you paying for that in the interim.
Yeah, because you know what?
Because you're happy to.
It's going to come back to me
This is
when they become consumers.
This is the wussification of America.